So we have here this tweet from Survey. She's French, so of course she lives in the European Union. Censorship escalates across the EU. I mean, sure, you may think I'm deranged when I keep talking about censorship, when more normie people talk about this. Yeah, it's gonna keep happening, and it's not great. New posts flag that sensitive content are no longer visible on user profiles within certain EU countries. Previously, this post will still appear with a restricted label. Now they're removed entirely from the profile view, with no notice or warning. Testing in France, Ireland, and Belgium produced the same outcome. When accessing the platform from outside the EU, the posts appear and remain fully accessible. I've seen this being really inconsistent. So I'm assuming they're just deploying this and testing. This tweet seems to be completely cursed, but I'm seeing new tweets that do not suffer from this, and I'm seeing all tweets which of course also don't suffer from this. I think the ad is a little bit low, so I will try my best to shut up.
Alright, first time I make a video for everyone to see and understand what I'm talking about. I have my friend Typo, who made a nice illustration, and I was wondering...
I don't want this video to be censored, so I have to cover his work. She's in bikini, and it's kind of funny, because if you go to this guy's profile, the guy is really spicy, and there are some scripts you can tamper with to see the spies. At least, if you can access the tweets, if you can access them, you are out of luck. Which I'm assuming that may be the main vector of attack here.
Damn! Where is it? I can't see it anymore. Then I was thinking maybe it got flagged, or deleted, I don't know. So since I reached out to him, he confirmed that it was still available on his account. So when I switched my location with my VPN, the post reappeared, as you can see here. So now it seems like that in Europe, any new sensitive posts are now effectively wiped from people's profile.
Not all of them. From what I'm seeing, not all of them. I'm not quite sure about the criteria, so sure, I guess.
Here, let me switch to France to show you. All right. And here...
And from what I understand, these are the replies to the tweet, which is something I've seen before. So, yes, this is blatant censorship.
Is this post completely gone?
I find it really funny.
It doesn't even say it's age restricted anymore. It's like it never existed in the first place. But the comments underneath are still available. That's crazy. We're literally getting censored, guys.
I know I've seen this before, and I know when I've seen this before, it's related to illegal content in the EU, whatever that means. So it might have been seen as, it's too spicy lolly content, but I'm not quite sure that's actually the case, because I'm seeing more explicit stuff. So once again, I'm quite unsure of what's going on here. I can attest to this specific twist shown here, to not appearing, and we have more information about this, don't mind me. Then again, I'm not quite sure about the criteria anymore. I'm not quite sure if you could use additional, or you could use aggregate services to actually check it, like a neutral post or something similar. I'm not sure. That, in theory, should be the case, but it depends on the server side, which, as you might understand, I have no clue. We have a follow-up here from Whiskey Project. Follow-up to censorship escalation in EU. As pointed out by Sarah, sensitive content is no longer being displayed. It is hidden by a grey box, completely removed as if they never were. No notice, no warning. A follow-up to her testing. Me and my team checked out as many of EU countries as we could. I can confirm that it is most likely the entire EU. Once again, can't that make sense if this comes from the quote-unquote illegal content in the EU, whatever that means once again. This has to be a decision of X rather than EU. I'm not quite sure about that. Though it seems connected to a wider push within the EU to censor content and remove anonymity. If you can, check her post as well, and spoil it what you can and raise awareness. They'll check everything, but you can stay safe. It's almost 5 minutes, she pretty much says the same thing. She lists a bunch of countries at the end, so EU, bad, outside of EU, you can check it. That's the TLDR. Some people in the channel didn't watch Sorry's video. This is not about the images and posts which you see as censored. This is about the posts which fully disappeared. There are two different types of sensitive posts. If you want to test whether or not it applies to you, I recommend checking the post which Sarah pointed out in her video. Again, this was tested even in Germany and Poland, and yes, it didn't work. I can still see not safe for work content, and the content normally censored, and that is what makes this more malicious. It's the fact that only a few posts fully disappear. Didn't ever explain why some posts which are similarly innocent are being censored like this, or what the logic behind this is. Something we would need to know for this whole situation would be, okay, if you have shown your papers to the website, can you actually check the post or not? I'm not quite sure if that's the case, because I don't know if they did. I know I didn't, and I know I never will. So, I will assume to some extent this is the quote-unquote illegal content in the EU. Then again, it's pretty funny. Of course, not surprising, we have the French President Macron saying free speech is BS. Free speech is pure bullshit. If nobody knows how you're guided through this so-called free speech, especially when it's to be guided from one hate of speech to another hate of speech. But hate speech has to be free speech.
Because, I mean, free speech is a pure bullshit if nobody knows how you are guided through this so-called free speech, especially when it's to be guided from one hated speech to another hated speech. I just want to have a transparent road through these different speeches, and I want, by the way, to have a sort of public order.
Politicians don't know how to speak in public, by the way. Pretty funny. They wanted to be transparent. Sure. That's why you need to show your credentials.
I want to avoid racist speech, hated speech, and so on. This is my... And the third one...
I want to avoid...
I want to avoid racist speech, hated speech, and...
I want to avoid racist speech and hate speech. Which is obviously pretty funny, because nowadays, everything is just racism, everything is just hate, and there's nothing you can do, everything is so pervasive. But it is free speech anyway.